Hello everybody, it's Alison from Engli-teach. Today I'm going to try using my little headset that I quite often use when I'm speaking to students and clients on the internet because it helps sometimes the pronunciation. So let's see if you can hear me a lot more clearly and if this helps. Let me know or not. Okay, so today's lesson is going to be all about prepositions, okay? Prepositions. Now, reading through some of my comments, one of my lovely viewers asked me to do a lesson about prepositions, so thank you for that. Now, some of you might be wondering, what are prepositions? And the other part of you may already know what they are, but don't know that they're called prepositions. So let me show you. Here are some examples of prepositions. Prepositions are small words like at, for, in, off, on, over and under. Okay, they're very, very small words, and common prepositions are often used to describe or to help describe a location, time or place. And they're often used in, well, they're always used in sentences. In fact, prepositions, these small words, are quite often the little words that link the nouns and the adjectives and the verbs together in a sentence. They help glue the noun, the verb, the adjective together to make a sentence that makes sense. Think how many times you have tried to make a sentence and maybe a teacher or an English speaker has corrected you because either you had no preposition or you put the preposition in the wrong place or you didn't use the right preposition. So let's have a little look. So, a preposition mostly is a word, as I said, that links the nouns and specifically the pronouns or phrases together in other sentences. And I'm going to give you an example of the three main categories of prepositions. Okay, so we have prepositions of time. We have prepositions of place, and we have, if we get that up a little bit more, okay, and we have prepositions of time, there we go, prepositions of place, and prepositional phrases, okay. Let's put some commas in here, some punctuation, prepositions of time and prepositions of place. So you will find prepositions within phrases, also when we're talking about time or expressing time, and also when we're talking about place. Okay, so let's give you some examples of this. The chocolate cake is yours. The chocolate cake is yours. Now the preposition here is. The chocolate cake is yours. If I just said, the chocolate cake yours, and quite often when learners are learning English, they will use their voice, the intonation in their voice to lift up the question or the part of the sentence because they can't remember the preposition or they don't know which one to put in. Quite often I will hear the chocolate cake yours? And learners of English quite often omit. Omit means to leave out, okay? Omit means to leave out. I'm going to put that in here actually. Omit means to leave out. Quite often learners will omit prepositions. So it should be the chocolate cake is yours. The chocolate cake is yours. You can still use your voice, the intonation in your voice, to express what you are saying. The chocolate cake is yours. This should be a question. The chocolate cake is yours, or the chocolate cake is yours if you are making a statement. So we could say the chocolate cake is yours as in a question, hence the question mark, okay? Or someone could say, which cake is mine? Which cake is mine? And you could say, the chocolate cake is yours. So it could either be a statement or a question, actually, this sentence. But we need the preposition is to make it clearer. Let's have another example. Are you going to be at the meeting? Are you going to be at the meeting? So at is a preposition and the prepositional phrase is at the meeting. At the meeting. Are you going to be at the meeting? Now again, let's just look. If I take away at, are you going to be the meeting? Can you see how the small word at makes all the sense? Are you going to be at the meeting? Not only does it make sense to us in our head, but it also makes the sentence flow a lot better. There's no stopping or starting. It's a lot easier to understand. Okay, let's have a look at another example. The dog is in the garden. The dog is in the garden. What do you think is the preposition? In. In. The dog is in the garden. Again, let's take it out and see what the sentence would look like. The dog is the garden. The dog is the garden. This means that the dog is the garden, which means doesn't make sense because a dog is an animal. It is not a garden. So the small in makes a lot more sense. The dog is in the garden. Now let's look at another example. We climbed up the hill. We climbed up the hill. Up. Up is the preposition. We climbed up the hill. Okay, can you see how the prepositions are starting to really add extra meaning to your sentences and your communication in general? Now let's look at a longer sentence, okay? Because these are quite small. Let's look at a longer sentence with a longer prepositional phrase. Now, in spite of everything, he still passed his exams. In spite of everything, he still passed his exams. in spite of. So in is the preposition, but the prepositional phrase, the actual phrase, is in spite of. In spite of everything, he still passed his exams. Okay? And one more. Let's have another little look at this one. Whoop, little typo there. Here we go. Instead of coffee, I will take tea. Instead of coffee, I will take tea. So, what do you think is the preposition here? Of. And the phrase, prepositional phrase, is instead of coffee, I will take tea. Okay, so here are obviously some prepositions to help you practice. In my program, I have even more activities and actual lessons that you could download and practice and submit back to me if you wanted me to mark them for you and to help you if you needed a little bit of extra guidance. Tomorrow, I'm going to look at prepositions of time. So make sure you come back tomorrow and have a little listen and a little look and a little read at the lesson and see if you can help yourself progress more by using prepositions. Now, bear in mind that native English speakers learn prepositions really from a very, very young age. We use them without thinking. They are very natural to native speakers in speech and in writing. However, it is one of the most dominant features of non-native English that I recognise when people are trying to learn how to speak English. Often I have students who have excellent vocabulary and a good grammar, but it's often the prepositions that really let them down. It's often the prepositions that they just haven't got quite right. And within the English language as a learner, they are perhaps one of the easiest elements of English to learn because they are just quite simple. The rule of thumb is quite simple. So often prepositions are placed before nouns. That's one of the key elements often, not always, but often. So listen back to the lesson, have a practice and leave some comments for me below with some example sentences that you have made with using prepositions. Okay, thanks so much. And like everything, give this a like if you liked it. And most of all, share this video with any colleagues, friends, or people you know who are wanting to learn English or who want their English to improve. Thank you so much. See you next time. Goodbye.